We need to have dreams because no dreams means death. But at the same time, we don't want to kill ourselves trying to make this dream come true. And in this video, I'm going to share with you my dream story that took me 20 years for it to happen. So it all started when I was a child. I had a lot of questions. I was wondering, who am I? What am I doing here in this life? And all those questions about what I call them the mysterious questions of life. I started growing up after many years. When I was about 18 years old, I found myself all the time when I see someone old, I can't stop thinking, like, I wonder how does this person feel, because I'm here in life, I'm new, but this person have been here for a long time, and I'm sure that he lived a long life, so a lot of things happened. So what is his story, and did he find answers at the end of his journey, because he's now he will not live as long as he did. I went to elderly people houses. I'm not sure what is the name in English. And I went there, and I was working as a journalist at that time, and they asked me to make a report about a topic, and I immediately thought of this house and the old people. So I went there, I was talking to them, listening to their stories, and I was really like, I just, every time I see someone old, I just can't stop myself from feeling a bit of sadness that this person, his life is going to end soon for sure. And I wonder if he found answers to this experience of life, and how does he see life and feel about it? How does he understand it? In 2005, I wrote this idea about talking to old people and documenting their stories, and I applied with it to a workshop for documentary film directing. And I was selected. I was one of 12 Egyptians who were selected for this workshop. It was just 10 days, mostly theoretical. It put me on the way to make documentaries, but of course we didn't make the idea through this workshop. I was just practicing. It was a hobby for me, documentary filmmaking at the time. And I just didn't feel confident after the workshop to work on this film. So I did other things, which you will find on the channel, like, for example, Kids Talk, where I was talking to children in schools, asking them adult questions. And it was very interesting what children say. And then worked on Sharma. Also, the film was on the channel, documenting life in Sharm el-Sheikh and as I was living there. But I was still not confident enough to make this film. But I had it all, like, that was the film. I thought of it as the film of my life, you know? This is the one I want really to make. Then I got a scholarship. I did my master's as doc nomads, and I traveled between different countries. But once when I first stepped my foot in Europe, in Portugal, the first film I made was It Goes On, which will be soon on the channel. And it was in an elderly home or house for old people. And I went asking my protagonist at the time, Edmundo, what does he think of life and what is his story? And so the idea is just, you know, when you have, like, I think dreams, like real dreams, is the one that doesn't leave you alone. It just keeps chasing you. So I made this film, but it was very short. And also when I pitched the idea at the time, no one was happy with it. Like, why would you care about someone who's not famous, who didn't do anything remarkable? So why would I care about their life story? The other thing is, why would I care about how they see life through their own belief and how they understand it and answer the mysterious questions? Most of the people in the master at that time, they were whether atheists or they just never question, and they don't. This is not the topic that they care for. They always asked us in this master, why you want to be a director? And I always answered, I want to make a documentary about life. And the reaction was one of three. One of them say nothing. They just hear, I want to make a film about life, and they just move on to the next student as if I said nothing. And other people would, for example, tell me, what do you want to do about life? Like, life is huge. Do you want to make a documentary about a poor woman who's struggling in a community of the society that doesn't? I said, no, I don't want to do a film or make a film about details of life. I want to make a film about life, that life experience. Once we were pitching ideas to a producer, and it was me and my colleague, and I told him I want to make a film about life and how people understand life, how they live it through their own belief, and how they explain it and understand it. And the producer told me, like, it's not an idea for me. Okay. At the same moment, my colleague, she pitched also her idea, and it was about, she was from Hungary, so she said, in Hungary we have orphans in the orphanage, and every month they get like a salary that is being saved for them until they reach the age of 18, and once they reach 18 they take the whole amount of money, and at that time some of their relatives show up just to take the money. And I want to make a documentary to document this and to help maybe issuing a law to stop this from happening. And the producer was so impressed with her idea. I was like, yeah, this is a documentary that is useful, that I can produce. So I started realizing, okay, what kind of documentaries maybe televisions or producers in general would be interested in. And definitely it's not how people understand life through their own beliefs. I was all the time thinking about this idea and how to develop it, how to make it better. I applied with the idea to many places, over 100 maybe association or organization or whatever, and no one was interested. So I started working on it on my own, and I started developing it more. Okay, what do I want to tell in this documentary? And I finally realized that I want to document my journey to understand life and answer its mysterious questions and live it the best possible way through the people I'm meeting who have a belief. And I don't mean by a belief a certain religion, like a Muslim or a Christian or I don't know, an atheist or any belief, but I believe that each person, any adult, has his own belief. Whether it doesn't matter what religion you are following or what belief you are following, you create out of this faith or belief your own version. I decided that I will go for people who converted from one belief to another, so that they chose this belief on their own and not just because they were born into it. There are documentaries similar to that. For example, in Canada, they have a documentary that shows the different beliefs and religions in Canada and how they are living together peacefully and all that. But it's about Canada. It has like let's say, a political goal. And this is not what I want to say. I want to say that we are all in this boat. And I want to document very interesting people who seem that they understand life and they are happy and live it to the best possible way through their own belief. So this will be the journey that I will document. After finishing my master's, I was struggling a bit between, should I pursue my dream or just do what people need, like what the market need, what producers need. So for a while I was thinking to make other topics maybe, or maybe work on other documentaries that people find that is useful to the society or what. But like, for example, I say, or I will go to Ukraine and document the life of a family struggling under the Russian invasion, and I'm definitely sure that this would be very welcome. But I'm really not interested in this. I'm not into conflicts. I was walking in Zagreb one day, the capital of Croatia, and I saw a building or a place that looks very like not fitting in the European style. It was a bit Chinese. So I entered, and I discovered that it's a tea house, and the owner was a Chinese. So I attended a tea ceremony, and I got to know this person and his story. And maybe he's not a very old person, but he's middle-aged man, and he seemed to be having all the answers. So this is what you'll discover in this documentary, which will be premiered soon on the channel, and now you can go and watch the trailer. You will discover how does he understand life and answer its mysterious questions. And he converted, he changed his belief. So from which belief to which belief? But when I found this potential protagonist, I was very excited. I filmed with him, and then I started thinking about, okay, I will just continue doing this documentary on a budget. I'll just pursue my dream. I started thinking about how to make the document, like what style I will use, and I discovered that, or I realized that I need to use animation because I'm coming from a graphic design background, and I always like to, I feel that animation can explain things better and tell the story in a very interesting way. But animation takes, of course, it's very expensive to hire someone. I already had an animator for my documentary. This is Medina Ivan, which I also shot in Croatia, and you can find it. I will leave a link to it. In this film, this is Medina Ivan, I hired someone to do the animation, but I had to make the animation so simple because I didn't want to pay much. But in this documentary, I wanted to put myself in the film as a character, and so I needed something not so simple. So this made me learn animation on my own. It wasn't easy because usually animation is made by a whole team, and I was working in a company that was doing that. I was just one piece in the big puzzle because I was just doing a certain part in this animation dynamic. I thought, okay, maybe I can't have a team, and also I'm not a professional animator, but I can just do the animation as much as I can. So I started learning, I started testing. It wasn't easy because when you want to make an animation, I had to, for example, mimic all the letters or try to make my mouth pronounce all the letters so that I can make the character speak. That wasn't easy, it took a long time. And then I was very interested also in scrapbooking. I wanted to use the art of scrapbooking, which I took a workshop about, and it's on my other Arabic channel, Fukaira. So I wanted to use scrapbooking, but the workshop was not enough for me to be a professional scrapbooker. So I already started. I went shopping for the material and everything and started testing and experimenting by using this to make like a scrapbook. It didn't work out at some parts because also it took huge amount of hours, and I discovered that if I will go this way, then I will finish this film after 60 years. So I kept the idea of the scrapbook, but I couldn't do it as much as I want because, of course, I couldn't hire a scrapbooker, and also I didn't have time to do all this work on my own. After I met the animated character, who is me in the film, I thought, okay, maybe I can also be in the film. So I already had a dress for this animated character, a pink dress, because pink is my favorite color. And I discovered that I don't have such a dress in real life. So I had to buy a dress And because I was on a budget, although I'm someone who cares for healthy living and sustainability and all that, but I thought just to give up my principles just this time and get something cheap Chinese dress online. And I did get the dress, but the smell was horrific. I don't know how they made this dress. It was full of chemicals. So I really discovered that no wonder I care for healthy living, because what is happening in the world now is just unbelievable. I made the film with this dress. Then I took photos. The idea was to use the photos and the videos that he has all over his life. And I worked on, of course, just to classify them and go through them. It took a lot of time because these days, everyone doesn't take one or two photos. Like, you can take hundreds of photos of one event because it's easy just to click, click, click. So I had to go through a lot of photos and material and edit and re-edit and test and cut. And the thing is, what made me continue all this is that this feeling inside me that this needs to be done. Like, it has to be done. And I think that any artist or creative person will understand what I'm saying. It's like when you have this need for something to get out. It's like delivering a baby. So it has to come out. And now I'm really happy to announce that I'm done with the first film, because I realized that I can't really put life or my journey in one film. So it will be a series of documentaries, and this will be the first one. And again, you can go watch the trailer and tell me, what do you think? What do you expect? The film will be out soon on the channel for the first time. It will be premiered, and you need to subscribe and click the notification bell so that when it's premiered, you get notified and attend the live premiere. So the dream is coming true finally after 20 years. So I had the idea 2005, and just now it is coming out. So I believe that if you have enough time, if you live enough, you can achieve all your dreams.